Good morning, this is Dominic with TheBackVlog, and I finally finished Legend of the Galactic Heroes. This video is about Legend of the Galactic Heroes Season 4. Man, what a show, what a classic. First of all, I would like to say that, I'm coming off convention season now. The year is starting to slow down now, we're getting into the fall time, and I think I want to try cosplay. I want to try cosplaying Reinhard von Lohengrin. I've been researching EVA foam basics and stuff, but I'm not gonna talk about this yet. I'll talk about this at a later time. But yeah, Reinhard von Lohengrin, I really love this character. I have written here that he is such a tragic character. And the reason I wrote this specifically, dude, she just fell down the steps. Calm your butt down. Calm your butt down. The reason I have this written down, it's not just because of the losses that he sustains in this show. The way that he proposes to Hilda in this is so shy and childlike, and considering like what his age is in this show, like it's crazy to think that this character in this show is younger than me, considering all of the things that he went on to do throughout the course of this show. But the way that he approaches her, with these complicated feelings is really like naive. It's kind of really sad to see like what kind of person he could have been like if it wasn't for his ambition. And it really sucks, like all the things that happened to him. I don't think he really deserves that. I think in the grand scheme of things, along with Yang Wenli, despite their opposing political beliefs and ideologies, Lohengrin is a good person. He's a very good person. And I think because of the powerful position that he forced himself into, a lot of people are trying to bring him down. And it really sucks. I really like Lohengrin. The thing I don't like is the terrorist cult. Not terrorist, but terrorist, as in the religious cult of Earth purists. They really do like pull all the strings, and I guess they have been this entire time, which is no surprise there. Adrian Rubinsky eventually becomes the ruler of it, or the leader of the cult, and he's a bastard man. I wrote here, Adrian Rubinsky is a bastard man, and he's been such a conniving and manipulative piece of shit this entire show. He's one of the most reprehensible people in fiction that I've ever come across. They are such good manipulators. They know how to manipulate people, and they know how to use people's character traits against them. And I think that's really brutal, the way that they can just play somebody's weaknesses against them. Whenever they frame Royenthal for the assassination attempt of Lohengrin, the terrorist cult is basically using Royenthal's and Reinhard's pride against themselves and each other, because while both of them know that the way that the situation played out isn't the way, or isn't the truth, their pride lets themselves get the better of them. Lohengrin wants Royenthal to apologize, despite the fact that he knows that he's not the person responsible for the assassination attempt. And the reason for that is just a principle thing, because Reinhard is in the position he's in, and Royenthal is in the position he's in, but also the fact that Reinhard gave him that position. It's just like a matter of principle. Like, I know he's not the person that tried to do this to me, but I expect an apology nonetheless, just because of who I am and who he is and what I've done for him. And on Royenthal's side, because he is as clever as he is, the people in this show are so smart, but because of like how clever he is, he knows exactly what Reinhardt's thinking. He knows that, like, and all the people around him know that all he has to do is apologize and everything will be fine. And Royenthal's like, I'm not the one that did it, so I'm not going to apologize. Even though I know that's the thing that will make things better, I'm not going to do that, you know, because of a principle thing. And the way that the terrorist cult uses these characteristics of these people against each other is disgustingly manipulative, but incredibly well done narratively. I think what ends up happening to Mittermeier also is very similar to what Yang Wenli was having to face, where I don't remember the exacts. I know that Reinhardt was getting sick, but Mittermeier was being put into a similar position as Yang Wenli, where, you know, he's about to be given this political position, but he doesn't believe that he belongs in politics because he is such a militaristic strategist. And that's where he belongs. That's his true calling. He doesn't feel that he belongs in politics. As this show proved, the people fighting the wars of the politicians are really the ones who would probably be better off calling the shots. But that's a whole different conversation that I am not at liberty to go into. But yeah, I thought that was a really interesting parallel to Yang Wenli's dilemma. That's really all of the notes that I have written here. I guess one thing that I have been thinking about since the show ended is the impermanence of it all. And, you know, interestingly enough, this show right here, The Wire, if you can see it, I don't know if you can see it. I imagine in a few hundred years' time, the events of this show are just going to loop back to the beginning. Because, you know, the thing with The Wire is that, like, you know, at the end of the show, season 5, it's really depressing because a lot of the stuff that was happening at the end of The Wire was kind of setting up the stage to be a repeat of the beginning of season 1. And it was like kind of back to status quo. And, you know, after all the stuff that happens in that show, it was kind of like disheartening to see. And in Legend of the Galactic Heroes, there's always these, there's always been these conversations about how either the autocratic rulership could be corrupted because, you know, Reinhardt isn't going to live forever, or democracy will eventually be corrupted because, you know, the views of the people will change depending on, you know, external factors. And I think, you know, despite the peace and the good ending that we get here, it's really been making me think about how, you know, even for a few hundred years, everything will be fine, but who's to say that it's going to last? I don't think it's going to last. I think that's one of the points of the show that it's trying to make. It's that nothing is built to last. Even the most romantic and benevolent political system, whose best interests, who's in everyone's best interest, eventually human nature is going to, you know, corrupt it and bring us back to square one. I guess that's just the way that I think about things, compared to the peaceful ending that the show ended up getting. It's kind of a juxtaposition. I think that's really cool, though, that it did make me think that, despite the fact that I had a different view of the ending, I think the fact that it was able to engage that conversation within myself was really interesting. I don't know. I don't really have a better way to articulate that, but Legend of the Galactic Heroes Season 4 and the whole show, it's a classic for a reason. I'll be thinking about this one for a long time. This will probably end up being one of my favorite things that I saw this year, which I do plan on making a video about at the end of the year. So stay tuned for that.